is. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Happened to have been in New York a few weeks ago and was happy. I was walking down the street and happened to see a Lili advertisement. It made me very happy to see that. So I just wanted to relate.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So let's start with who Lili serves.
So Lili is focused on the freelance economy, self-employed, small business owners, side hustles, everybody that is taking themselves in regards to their occupation.
I love that. And so how do you serve them? How does it work then?
So from our point of view, like the challenges of being a small business owner are huge. And our goal was to empower them with the different services and tools to make it easier for them to manage their day-to-day routines.
Mm-hmm.
So we offer the banking experience combined with tax tools and business tools and trying to solve all of the different pain points with a very simple and easy experience.
I got it. And so maybe we can zoom out and talk about the size of the freelance gig economy, and how do you see it growing in the upcoming years?
So I guess a lot of people, when they imagine the freelance economy or the gig economy, they will imagine a driver, an Uber driver, or a DoorDash delivery, and so on. It's actually a huge economy combined by almost 60 million people just within the US and doing everything from driving delivery, but through beauty and fitness and construction, contractors, up until programming, engineering, video, design, and so on. So we are talking about a lot of different people that are doing that either as a full-time position or
Mhm.
as a side hustle, and defining a product or making selling a service and so on. And I think what's very unique about them is that they're in charge of everything from getting to know the customer to producing a product and making sure that they get paid on time and so on and so forth.
Um, is this a community that you have personal connection to, or I guess how do you relate to this community, or co-founders or the company itself?
So my co-founder Liran was used to be a freelancer for almost 10 years. So he knew the different pain points of managing your own business.
Hmm.
And those are a lot actually.
That makes sense. Is that where the name Lili comes from? Lee and Liran?
Yeah, that
Okay.
are initials where it started as a nickname and then everybody liked it. I think, it stands out within the traditional finance economy
Hmm.
and it sounds a bit familiar. And we wanted to get the feeling that the product will be available for everybody.
Yeah, it does. It does have that branding to it. Maybe we could talk about the challenges faced by this specific community with traditional banking services.
Yeah, so I think if you look at the history of the banking services, it's supposed to be just it used to be just focused on either the consumer side with a lot of different services or the business side. But on the business side, it was very focused on bigger businesses, so like not as small as a one person operation, but actually a business that has employees, that maybe has an accountant, maybe a CFO, and so on. And in between developed an economy of the finance economy, which is a mix between a consumer and a business. So
Yeah.
they are consumers, but they also are in charge of their own business. And they need to get access to a lot of different tools and services. So in between, they were stuck in that traditional industry point of view. So from our studies, was actually, can we define a new category, which is not going to be the consumer side, not the business side. It's going to be its own category, the freelance economy category, and offer them more than just banking, because for their point of view, like they don't have a lot of time and they want to focus on building their business. So embedding all of the different services they need in just one app makes it makes a lot of sense from their point of view. They can save a lot of time and money and just focus on growing their business.
I think one of our speakers over the past 3 days was specifically talking about this community and talked about the way he described it was consumer plus plus. This person who's not quite a consumer, not yet really a big business or even a small business, but he called it. I thought that terminology was pretty interesting.
Yeah, sometimes you can refer to that as prosumers because
Prosumers,
they
right?
are more professional consumers.
I'd love to hear about your background and what you're bringing to building Lili.
So I've been doing payments and banking for over 20 years, mainly in Israel as the domestic market, but not just. And My co-founder and myself, we built a bank in Israel. It's called Pepper. It's very focused on millennials. So a different market, but from an expectation point of view and culture, it's very much similar to the millennials and Gen Z that we are now serving at Lili. And when we wanted to move from the Israeli market, which is, close to our heart, but a bit small, to generate a better impact, we were looking for a segment that is big and growing and changing. That is how we came across the intersection between the online economy and the freelance economy, and the fact that there are many different services that are facing or very focused on getting them work or exposing their product and so on. But nobody was actually tackling the day-to-day routines and the challenges and what it means to build a business. So from our point of view, it was about how can we help the economy to grow and scale and provide all of those different services, from payments to accounting to taxes to expense management. How do you maximize the potential of a business and offer them all of the different tools in just one app?
Yeah, it's a bold vision. And I'm also curious, based on your background building Pepper, how does your experience, that 20-year experience, how does that inform where you're taking Lili?
So, from our point of view, it was about solving real pain points. So for a product to actually make a difference, they have to solve a pain point. And from our point of view, banking wasn't enough. So we can build good banking services, maybe much better than, the traditional ones, in a better service, in a better pricing. But at the end, from a consumer point of view, or prosumer point of view, it's not just about the banking side. They can take the banking for granted. And when we thought that how can we leverage the data that we have with the access to the banking services and create better experience for them for all of the different services that they need to have access to. So, when we were looking at the different data that we have in regards to their spending and income and so on, we thought that we can definitely create a better experience in regards to managing their expenses or saving for taxes and so on. So all of those different pain points that they had to use different software, or maybe somebody will use a spreadsheet or will, just manage everything by receipts and so on. How can we help them maximize their potential as a business, pay less taxes, save on taxes, and maximize their deduction, and track invoices and payments and so on. So building an holistic experience, around the app, the mobile app, so they will actually have more time to focus on their business, and everything will be automatically generated for them.
I think what you said is really interesting. I think one of the things you see when you look at micro businesses or solopreneurs, they use multiple apps, like 6 or 8 apps to handle all these things. And it sounds like you're trying to consolidate that into one super app, maybe the right term, but one single app, right?
Yeah, because who wants to, work with 6 or 8 apps? And if you think about it, you have to pay individually, you have to migrate information across the apps, and you have to integrate a full view in regards to your business, your insights, where you stand, and so on. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And you might be educated enough to do it, but why would you? If you have enough time, you might want to spend it on your business, or, take some time off. And managing a business in regards to all of those different hours that you have to spend on the different software, I think, it's just, creates more pain points.
So the next question is, how do you identify the essential tools that a person like this would need to address in a banking experience?
So first, we were looking at the different pain points that are all across the different industry, because we are now serving more than 30 different industries, and those segments are really, really different from one another. But I think what is common about them is first, they're facing the same issues with regards to expenses and taxes, because they have to keep track of their expenses. If not, they would just pay more taxes. Mm-hmm. They have to set aside enough to pay taxes by the end of the quarter or by the end of the year. And I think, everybody is lacking on that. So they will either lose receipts, they will they will lose track of their expenses and so on. So what we created is an experience that is an holistic experience in regards to the use case of expense. So whenever you swipe a transaction using the Lili card, you will get a push notification. The transaction is already pre-categorized to the specific IRS category. And the only thing you have to do is just swipe within the app, right or left, if it's a business expense or a personal expense. Once you do that, everything is pre-populated. So
Mm.
like you will get the calculator of how much money you're saving on taxes. You will get all of the financial insights. You will get the income and expense report by the end of the month and the end of the quarter. So you will actually keep in touch in regards to your expenses. And you can attach a receipt, but you don't have to because everything is digitally already booked for. And the second thing that we were mapping for is taxes, because everybody knows they have to pay taxes, but they actually don't put enough money inside. And if the money is available within your account, you will just spend it. That's the natural habit of consumers. So once you log into Lili, we will define a percentage with you for you. And whenever the income hits the account, we will take that specific amount and we will move it into a tax bucket. So
Mm.
you will always know where you stand. You will see your true balance and you will always have enough to pay for taxes. And that is how we went, from one challenge to another, started with expenses and taxes, moving into savings and invoicing, payments, and so on. And the goal is that it's going to be the go-to for freelancers. So if you're now starting your side hustle or you decided to double down on your business and so on, you will need to have Lili in your corner.
So I assume, I don't know if this is a correct assumption, but at some point, you and your co-founder had to determine whether to create all that internally or link out and integrate these outside applications. How do you think about that, like philosophically?
So whenever we feel like we have an advantage in
Mm-hmm.
regards to developing it, like we have access to real-time data, we can build an integrated experience within the app so you don't have to go into another user interface or you don't have to onboard to another product. We will mainly develop it by ourselves. If it's something that is on a day-to-day engagement level, we will want it to be within the app by our own development and the same look and feel, the same experience, and actually very holistic in that regards. If we feel like there is something that is a one-time thing, like for example, buying insurance policies and so on, this is something that we want to integrate.
I see. Well, what about like popular accounting platforms? Like we heard from Rania Sakar today, who runs QuickBooks Money. Is the idea to migrate your customers onto the Lili app completely so everything is self-contained, or to integrate with QuickBooks, for example?
So we do have an integration to QuickBooks, but
Mm-hmm.
most of our customers are actually using Lili and
Uh,
for the full solution. So like the expense management, the tax withholding and tax reporting. I guess, from our point of view, if you're a single owner and Lili's offering you everything in real time, why would you want to go into a different app and pay, the subscription fees and then integrate that to the account and so on? Because I think, what is lacking about a lot of the different softwares that are linked to the accounts is the fact that they don't have the data in real time. They're very dependent on the banks exposing the data. And the way that the banks expose the data are different from one bank to another.
totally.
And the experience, it's a bit more complicated than it could be. And I think, for Lili, it's so easy. Somebody was referring to that, one of our customers, where she was actually saying it's like dating your expenses. And it's like having an accountant in your hand. So like those are the feedbacks that we want to get from customers, that it's so easy, it's so simple to use. You will actually have some fun with, managing your expenses from that point of view.
Totally. So let's. I'd like to look like, I guess, horizontally. How do you think Lili differentiates itself from other banks or from other apps that are, I guess, are targeting a similar audience?
So I think first we're very focused on our specific economy. So like we're dedicated for the freelance economy. We are looking at the different pain points. We are designing all of the different products to fit that specific, segment. And we're not doing anything else. So like we're very vertical oriented. And second, I think, we're the only ones that are combining the banking side with all of the different software on top of it, but actually investing a lot of time and effort with content as well. So like when we look at our position and the vision of the company, we want to be in a position to educate our customers to actually take back control, to understand more,
Mm.
and be aware of the different resources they have. So like we're embedding a lot of the content within our blog, but the content is actually embedded within the app itself. Like we choose 3 different articles every time and promote that within the app. You will get also a monthly newsletter. So I think, education is a really big thing that we believe in. And it's not just about the automation of the processes, but it's actually about educating and making sure the resources are available, especially during COVID when a lot of the different resources were offered by the government. But it was so confusing for the individuals to actually know when and where to apply. And you had to be very fast in regards to the application. So, we're thinking our position is more generating a community of freelancers and making sure that you will not feel alone with building the business, and you will enjoy the power of the community around the product.
We had a question come in from the audience from Michael. Hopefully you're open to receiving it.
Sure.
It's a technical question. Do you limit cash outflows from accounts as a way of mitigating risk for your customers?
Yeah, but we do offer many different options to put money in the account, to move money into the account, and also to move money out of the account. And risk is based on a specific customer profile. So the more you transact with Lili, the better you will get. You can increase your limits, and you can have access to more tools.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's look out to the future. Like, how do you think consumer expectations of their banks are changing now and in the near future?
I think, people are looking at it. If it was in the past where you would just go to a branch near your home and, open an account and get the different services from a cashier and so on. I think now the expectations are actually to get everything on demand in real time within your mobile app. You want to have access to more than just banking, because I think, from a millennial point of view and Gen Z point of view, it's not about storing your money. It's about getting access to insights, helping you build something in addition to, just getting all of the different products. So from our point of view, banking will have to shift towards offering more than just banking and generating value in different ways to maintain the relationship within those specific consumers.
This is something we've heard from a few of the presenters over the past 3 days about banks moving beyond what we think of as traditional banking services into things that actually really provide value for their customers. What role do you think innovation plays in the freelance and gig economy, the banks servicing this industry?
I think it is a really, really crucial role, because if you think about it, most of the freelance economy are combined from millennials and Gen Z. Those are individuals that are young and maybe new to the economy. And within their specific household, I don't think a lot of their parents or the community around them used to work as freelancers. So there is lack of education, lack of knowledge in regards to that. So I think, banks should take a bigger step and responsibility in regards to not just offering and not just automating the process, but actually getting access to education, making sure that a lot of the different knowledge and know-how is addressed to, and making sure that the products are actually accessible for all of the different communities. Because I think, in the past, and there might be a bit of a lacking in regards to the way the brands were built, the way the services were offered, and so on. And some of the communities were left behind. And I think, it's about getting access to everybody.
That makes a lot of sense. Maybe we could talk about where Lili is in terms of a timeline. Like when did you launch? And I know you just raised money recently. Tell us a little bit about the history.
So we launched in January 2020, a month before COVID started.
Terrible timing.
Which was an amazing timing.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, we thought oh my God, this is what are we going to do? It's a global pandemic. Everybody is at home and so on. How do you grow? How do you scale? How do you build a brand? But actually, the overall effect of COVID in regards to financial services was creating a different effect, because when people were locked at home and they didn't have access to branches and so on, they thought about, looking into different financial products. Maybe we can try different things. Maybe mobile can be, or online can be, access to all of those different services. And also a lot of people were unemployed during the pandemic. So they were looking for different ways to diversify their income. And I think, the freelance economy actually enjoyed a boom period in that regards. And it is expected over the latest research that by 2027 it's going to be 50% of the US workforce, which means a lot of people are going to join that specific economy, and then will need access to all of those different tools and services.
Totally agree. And where are you with Lili's, I guess, product rollout? What's live now? What are you thinking about launching in the future?
So we just launched in the beginning of the summer, Lili Pro, which is a product, more professional product, very focused on businesses that are growing and scaling with more advanced tools and services. So we embedded invoicing with payments. We also offered overdraft, advanced expense management, advanced tax reporting, and cashback, savings, and so on. So we want to be in a position to offer you a product that will serve you at the beginning, and as we are building your business, but actually another product that will offer once you scale and once you grow, it's becoming an important part of your day-to-day. And looking at the different aspects, we want to make sure that we are offering more credit products, because that specific community is very underserved in regards to credit. They are considered more risky because their income might fluctuate a bit, and it's not like a 9 to 5 position that you get a paycheck every other week. And I think it's about making sure that you understand that community better, the patterns of income and so on, and offering more accessible, affordable products.
We have another question, Lilac, that came in from the audience. This is from Joshua. He said he used to do freelance web design, and health insurance was always frustrating for me. Not many fintechs want to move into insurance, but Lili has a unique combination of an audience who struggles with it, plus the network effect of having a bunch of freelancers in one place. Are you planning to expand or partner into services outside of finance and banking, like insurance?
Yeah, we definitely plan on, we're looking at the different opportunities in regards to integrating different insurance products, not just health. Actually, we have liability insurance, which is also very important for a lot of the different segments, health insurance, savings for retirement, and so on. So we're looking to get into those different services. And we feel like there are many different pain points that we want to address. We are just prioritizing one after the other to embed within the super arc experience.
Sure. So there's another question that just came through also about more functionality. Do you have a credit line, say $1,000? It seems irregular pay periods to bridge gig to gig. Is that a critical need for your customers?
I think credit is a huge need. We just started with overdraft, so you can get up to $200. We are looking into secure credit cards to actually help you build your credit, but definitely income smoothing as that specific customer we're looking for, or cash advance. I think there are a lot of different ways that we can serve that specific economy from a credit point of view, and we are moving from one product to another.
We also had earlier in our conference the head of marketing at N26 talk about the challenge in building a global brand. Is there a challenge for you being in Israel, launching a US brand? Is there value to being on the ground, or what are the challenges, I guess, from being a little bit distant?
So our company is very New York focused. I'm based in New York. We have a big team based in New York, and Israel is very R&D center. And I think, if you look at a lot of the freelance economy companies that are very Israeli related and so on, the mix between New York and Tel Aviv actually always works for them.
Yeah.
And I think it's a challenge to build a brand, period.
Yes.
Not from one country to another. The US economy is big. It has a lot of different brands, and, getting attention, share of voice, and so on. It's not an easy task, but I think once the product makes a lot of sense and it echoes through the community, I think the word of mouth will work in regards to, freelancers and recommending other freelancers the product that will actually help them on a day-to-day. And I think that's the way to move forward and build a brand. Amazing.
Lilac, thank you for joining us at the Big Bang Theory conference, and good luck to you and Lili.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.
Thank you.